We have edited our samples in Logic, and we have used the bounce in place feature so that we have a folder of samples with that BIP added at the end, which we left there. Sound like this.
Meow.
And so on and so forth. I just hit the spacebar, by the way, to sample those. And what we want to do is get over to Logic, start a new project, brand new, not from a template or anything, just a new project with a software instrument. We can pick from the drop-down menu, if we're so inclined, an Ultrabeat stereo drum synth. Click Create. Now we are presented with the Logic Arrange window and Ultrabeat drum kit ready to go. Well, we're going to build our own drum kit, so let's get into this and make some modifications. The library, the inspector, these are all over here. They maybe are open for you on default, or maybe they're not. Go down to the channel strip where the instrument plugin is. If you hover your mouse there for a second, you see it says Ultrabeat. So I click that opens the Ultrabeat editor window. Luckily for us, we're going to ignore a lot of this right now. I'm going to go into drum kits and choose the drag and drop samples. What that does is that empties out all of the sounds that already existed in that pre-made drum kit that we started our project with. So each one of these lines represents a different sample, and this vertical bar that goes up the side represents the keyboard, starting down with the lowest C on our keyboards and working our way up from there. What we're going to do is select one of those lines and drag and drop our sample right into this window right here. So I've opened my Finder window on the same screen as Logic, and that's just as simple as clicking the Finder icon. And if you don't already have the window open, you can type new Finder window, and then from here you can find your, browse to find your samples. So all I'm going to do is pick up this sample here, and if I do it quick enough, just to drag and a drop, then the sample is there, and I can even see that it shows up in this waveform. I'm going to double click that and give it a name. That was Ethan's sample, and then I'm going to work my way up to the next one. And I'm going to click on the Finder window and drag and drop that. And that's just a little sample, so I don't see that, but I can click it and test it. I'm going to click on line 3, drag and drop the snap, double click here to name that, and I'm going to go ahead and finish out real quick. Alright, I have finished dragging and dropping my samples into the Ultrabeat drum sampler. And now would be a good time to go ahead and encourage you, and maybe 5 minutes ago would have been a good time to encourage you. Go to the drop down menu, save as to save your sample. And I'm going to call these just class sounds 2019, because maybe I'll have some more later. That's going to save your Ultrabeat patch inside this folder, and you can load it in any project in the future. So your name, music, apps, plugins, Ultrabeat. So you can hit save, and now we've got that saved. The next thing that we did was we got into the full view, and you can go up this list and create and replace randomly. So I'm going to go ahead and go up each one of these lines in this step sequencer, and I'm just going to make a random pattern as I work my way up each line. Now that I've got some random nonsense on each line, I can get into this particular area, which is the velocity and gate line, and I can choose randomize gate or randomize velocity. I can start to make adjustments of each of these sounds by using the mute or the solo, so I can isolate them and see what I like. Let's hear what this sounds like. Sounds exactly like I would expect it to sound like. Lastly, because we started using the step sequencer, this power button has come on next to the sequencer. I'm going to disable that. I'm going to pick up this square here. I'm going to click and hold and drag this into the arrange window. Now I've got that pattern in the arrange window. I can close this out. I can bounce this little excerpt and share that as an MP3 file for submitting.